Morning, children. In previous class, I explained about the human environment, settlements, transport. Under this transport, I explained about the roadways. Why the roadways are the best means of transport for all the season and what were the reason. I have also explained about the classification of roadways in India and some international roadways which are found in the world. Now I am going to explain about the railways. So railways are the most mode of the land transport that carries passengers and bulky goods. Bulky goods means heavy goods. Bulky goods means heavy goods over a long distance. So railway is a most popular land transport that carries passengers and bulky goods. Bulky goods means heavy goods over a long distance. Carrying these a large number of passengers and bulky goods from the roadways is not possible. And the world's first railway was opened between Stockton and Darlington. They are in the northern England. In which year? In 1925. And since the railways become one of the most popular modes of the transport. The railways are fairly fast, safe, cheap. Cheap means they ask to pay a very less amount, and comfortable. Comfortable means we can sit or for the long journey we can lay down also, and we can carry our luggage also. So the railways are very fast, safe, cheap and comfortable for the movement of the people and the materials. Today, steam engines have been largely replaced. First, in the railways, steam engines were used. Now, today, steam engines were replaced by diesel and electrical engines. Okay, first steam engines were used in the railways. Now, at present or today, they are replaced by diesel or electrical engines. And the Indian railway network is one of the largest in Asia and the fourth largest in the world. So Indian railway network is one of the largest railway network in Asia and the fourth largest network in the world, and it runs a fleet of approximately 11,700 trains every day. Means every day this number of trains fleet all over the country, and they connected nearly 7,080 stations. And the network of railway is very dense in plains, as it is easy to lay tracks here. Dense means very close to each other. And why the railway network is very dense in the plains? Because it is easy to construct or build than the mountainous region or in the hilly areas or in the desert. The railway network is relatively poor, as it is difficult to lay tracks. Even in hilly areas and the desert, this network is very or comparatively very poor, because it is very difficult to build or construct. And the passenger trains are a popular mode of the transport. There are two types of railways. First, the which carry the passengers. Passengers means people. They carry the people, only the people from one place to another. They are called the passenger trains. And another one is the goods trains. Goods trains only carry the materials. Might you have observed, sometimes in some goods trains only coal, and sometimes you have seen the oil tankers. So they are called the goods trains. So there are two types of trains: passenger trains and goods trains. So passenger trains are a popular mode of the transport in UK. UK means the United Kingdom, Japan and India. And in India, a number of super fast trains have been introduced. Super fast train, they are the passenger trains which run a very long distance. So their speed is very high. And this super fast train have been introduced which have reduced travel time. They reduce the time considerably from the other trains. So the super fast trains are Rajdhani Express and the Shatabdi. And the TGV of the France is one of the fastest train in the world. This Rajdhani Express and the Shatabdi Express, they are the super fast train of India. And TGV, it is the TGV of France is one of the fastest train in the world. And the industrial area, industrialized region also means where the most of area is covered by industries. So industrialized region of the world like the Western Europe, Russia, East Central USA and the thickly populated industrial belt of India and Japan and China, they have dense network of railway. So in which area there is a dense railway network of railway? In the industrial region and the where the population is thick. So in these two areas the railway network is dense. So in India it is a industrial belt and in the world Japan and China. And the railway which runs across the continent and link two ends are called transcontinental railways. Okay, so the railways which run across continent means from one continent to another continent. Some railways across from one continent to another continent and they link from one end to another end. They are called transcontinental railways. What is the meaning of transcontinental railways? The railways which run across the continents and link their two ends. Link means they join. Their two ends are called transcontinental railways and they are of great economic and political importance. So transcontinental, what is the meaning of transcontinental railways? The railways which run across continents, and continents means from one continent to another continent. What is the meaning of continent? A large piece of land, and there are 7 continents in the world: Asia, Africa, Europe, North America, South America, Australia and Antarctica. Now some transcontinental railways are: first one, the Trans-Siberian Railways. This Trans-Siberian Railways runs from St. Petersburg to Vladivostok. And second, the Trans-Canadian Railways which run from Halifax to Vancouver. Third, the Union and the Pacific Railway. It runs from New York to San Francisco. And the Australian Transcontinental Railway from Perth to Sydney. And the next, the Orient Express. It runs from Paris to Istanbul. Now, next mode of the transport is waterways. Since the early times, waterways have been used Waterways also used to move people and material from one place to another place. In ancient time, the human built raft. Raft means they join and a number of logs. They join a number of logs and they use as a boat, canyon, boats, and the finally ship. So as the time passed, the human built raft, cannon, boats, and the ship for the purpose of the movement of people and the material. And one of the greatest advantages of the water transport is the water is the natural medium of transport and need no construction, only need ports and the harbors to be built and maintained. So therefore the waterways are the cheapest means of transport and ideal for moving heavy and bulky goods. So why the water transport is the cheapest means of transport? Because it is a natural medium of transport and needs no construction like road. If we need roadways, then we have to build the road, we have to construct the road, and same railway we have to track, we have to construct. But in the water transport needs no construction, only ports near the coastal area or near the sea and the harbors need to build and to be maintained, and the waterways are therefore the cheapest means of the transport. And the waterways also classified into two types: inland waterways and the marine waterways. Okay, so as the roadways classified in the different types, here waterways also can be classified into two types: inland waterways and marine waterways. First one is the inland waterways. Inland waterways like rivers and lakes are navigable. Rivers and lakes are navigable. Navigable means used for navigation, means used for boats and ships. So rivers and lakes which are navigable are used as waterways, and the mostly sailboats and steamers are used. Mostly sailboats and steamers are used as the mode of transport. In India also, few of the rivers also used for the transport like Ganga and Brahmaputra and their tributaries. Tributaries means the branches of the main river. The river Godavari and the Krishna and their canals, and the backwaters of Kerala and Mandavi and Juveri rivers in Goa, and tidal rivers of Sundarbans are some of the example of inland waterways. And some of the world important waterways also there. The Rhine waterways connect the Rhine waterways, the Danube waterway, Mississippi waterways. These are the some uh, important waterways of the world. And the great lake between USA and the Canada, and rivers like the Nile, Amazon, Yangtze and Volga are also important waterways. Now marine waterways. Marine waterways are the sea routes. Marine waterways are the sea routes and oceanic routes. Okay, so waterways also two types: inland waterways and the marine waterways. Now marine waterways means sea routes, when the ships move in ocean and seas through which goods and people move from one country to another country. This is called the marine waterways. Marine waterways are the sea route and the oceanic routes through which the goods and the people move from one country to another. Some of the important ocean routes are the Cape of Good Hope sea route, the Mediterranean and Indian Ocean route, and the Northern Atlantic sea route and the South Pacific sea route. The two artificial canals which have added world trade in a big way are the Suez Canal. The Suez Canal link Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea. Okay, the Suez Canal link Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea, and the Panama Canal connect Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean across Isthmus of the Panama. And highly valuable cargo is also where cargo is a ship which carry the bulky goods. And air transport is largely depend of types of the terrain, as the planes can fly over difficult terrain. Okay, so air transport also is a largely depend on the type of terrain. Terrain means different types of landforms, as the planes can fly over different difficult terrain. And air transport is a boon for the region dominating by hills and inaccessible areas. Means air transport is very useful to travel where roadways and the railways is difficult to build and construct. So air transport is used especially in hilly area and where the roadways and railways are difficult to construct. And it is also used during the disaster time. Disaster hit region where the disasters come like a flood. So helicopters particularly play a major role in a rescue and relief operation. Why only the helicopters? Helicopters play a major role in rescue. Rescue means to protect the life of the people and the material. Okay, why the helicopters play a major role? Because the helicopters can land anywhere rather than the airplanes. So there are the both domestic and international air services. So air transport also have two types, international air service and the domestic air service. Western Europe, Eastern USA and Southeast Asia have dense network of the railways, and some of the major internal airports are New York, London, Paris, San Francisco, Frankfurt, Delhi, Mumbai, Cairo, Tokyo, Bangkok, Rio de Janeiro, Karachi, Rome, etc. etc. All these are the international airports. Now, communication. Communication. What is the meaning of communication? Communication refers to exchange of ideas and information. And communication refers to the effective exchange of ideas and information. When we share our ideas and information through some means to the other people, that is called the communication. And without communication one cannot acquire the process or apply knowledge. Without communication we cannot know the idea, or we cannot exchange our ideas and information to the other people. And it is very basis of the development. Yes, and it is very basis of the development. Communication can be verbal or non-verbal. Verbal means when we talk from one person to another person, that is called verbal communication. And non-verbal communication means when we talk through paper, means written, when we are writing something, or when we are sharing our message, written message to other people, that is called non-verbal. And it can be one-to-one communication or mass communication. The communication can have a individual or mass communication. Individual means when we communicate from one person to another person or very less person. But mass communication, when we communicate to a large number of people at the same time. Large number of people, the people can have the 1,000 or more than that. That is called the mass communication. In ancient time, the people also communicate, but in different way. So people used hollow trunks of trees and drums to draw attention of the people, and they spread information. In ancient time, the people used drum to draw the attention of the people, and they spread the information. And the people also used doves and the pigeons, okay, to send the message. So as the time passed, after the invention of telephones and the computer communication has become very easy. Now we are sending our message through the computers and email, and we can talk in video call or left through the landline. We can talk to the people. In 1875, Graham Bell invented the telephone. Graham Bell invented telephone, and the telephone made it the possible to communicate over a great distance. If we want to talk our relative which are sitting in far away from the country, so through telephone we can talk. The first telephone exchange in India was established in Calcutta in 1880, and today there are 550 telephone exchanges across India, and most of them are digitized, means most of the telephone exchange are digital, means they use computer. And the invention of the radio marked the beginning of the wireless communication. As the radio invented, it was the beginning of the wireless communication. Now satellite also launched into the space from the earth to revolutionized communication. Through the satellites we can send the message or the information from one country to another country, or from one continent to another continent. So television now bring news from the across the world. Now we are sitting at home and seeing the matches, live matches, from which are conducted in another country through the satellite only. And the people can send instant message on their mobile phone and the computer. Now we can send email via the internet. Okay. Now these new methods of the communication have shrunk distance across the globe, because in a very short period of time we can contact to the people who are sitting in far away from us. So these new methods of the communication have shrunk the distance across the globe, and now we are said to be living in a global village. So now we are living in a global village because of this, the new method of the communication. Now what is the impact? What is the impact of the modern means of transport and communication? And here first we use the letter, and then slowly started telegram, then SMS, the mobile phone and telephone. Okay, so as the time passed, we invented so many, the people invented so many things. First we use the letter, different types of letters to send the message. Now telegram invented, so we send message through the telegram also. Then SMS through the mobile phone, and the we can ring up through the telephone and we can talk with the people. And the television also gives lots of information about the world. Now if we want to listen the song, then we can listen the song through the FM radio. Okay, so in this way, this transport and communication impact in our life. Now see the glossary. Settlement, a place where people built their homes. Community, a group of people living in a particular area and bounded by a common culture. Garrison town, a defense town. Navigable, allowing ships and boats to pass through. Mass communication with thousands of people at the same time. So dear children, you all have to learn glossary. This time glossary also will come as a define, as you are writing in the previous exam. So you learn glossary, it will come as define or as one word answer. So you learn glossary. Learn all the exercises, because many of the students asking to learn give reason or distinguish between or not. So don't learn give reason, but distinguish between, which are very small, you can learn. And learn answer in brief. Learn glossary properly. And tomorrow in the next video I'll give question answers. Thank you. Have a nice day.